Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Grow Wealthy Grooming. I am your host, River Lee. For those of you guys that are new here, I want to welcome you. And for those returning, thank you so much for being helpful. I want to say thank you to Erin. I literally have been going live for the last 10 minutes and I thought I was live, but for whatever reason, all the technology did not connect, but here we are. It all worked out. Thank you guys so much. What I'm going to do from now on is when I go live, please say hi to me. Please like the video. That way I know that I'm actually live, which I know you shouldn't have to do, but please have some mercy. You know, I am just a groomer and trying to figure out all this technology is not for me. I feel like an old lady. In fact, I'm pretty sure old ladies do better with technology than I do. I accept it. It is what it is. So I want to welcome you guys to Grow Wealthy Grooming. And as you know, too many groomers own a job and not a business. At Savvy Groomer, we teach pet professionals how to make simple changes in their business so they can grow a business that is successful. So I'm going to go over right now and I'm going to show you guys what we're going to be talking about this week. This is going to be a great topic. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about this and I wanted to compile all the information and make sure that what I had was relevant to 2020. Today we're going to be talking about how you can start your retirement in 2020. And I'm just going to ask you guys in the comment box to make sure that you guys can see me before I continue. What I really need is a tech person one day. I don't know if it's actually working. The comment box to make sure. Oh, yep, I work. Good. Yay! So I just literally pulled it up on my phone to make sure everything is working. Awesome sauce. So let's go ahead and start in today's topic, which again is going to be how to start your retirement in 2020. Yeah, the stream is just not, I don't know what's going on with it, unfortunately. We have full, I have 1,000 up, 1,000 down, so there should be no problems. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm going to keep pushing through it, and if we need to reshoot this, then we need to reshoot it, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that this is working. That. I don't know what just happened. Oh boy. Now I don't know what happened. Oh, there we go. One day I will get it. Oh boy. Okay. So let's go ahead and start on the topic. Thank you guys so much for being so patient. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of different ideas depending upon what you guys are doing in your business or if you work as a job. So if you guys currently work at corporate or work for a business that offers a 401k, I would highly suggest that you take advantage of that. Whether you get a match or not, a 401k is generally one of the easiest ways to start increasing your retirement. Depending upon your boss's match, the latest I looked at, I did some research on Petco and PetSmart. It looks like there's up to a 4% match. And what that means is that however much money you put into the 401k, you'll get a 4% match to that amount of money. That's very helpful. It's basically free money. Now, I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole because I honestly do not know a ton of groomers that are going to have 401ks. So what I want to talk about more, especially where our time is getting a little tight, is we're going to talk first about IRAs. So if you have an IRA, what is that? It's basically a retirement account. So if you're just starting out or if money's tight, this is your best option. In 2020, you can contribute up to $6,000 into your IRA. Better yet, if you left a company, like I said, if you're just leaving Petco or PetSmart, you can take your 401k and you can roll that into an IRA. With an IRA, there are two different options. Don't mind me. La la la. Your options for your IRAs are a traditional IRA, and that's where you get a tax deduction on your contributions during the year you contribute. The money grows tax deferred, and you pay taxes only when you withdraw the funds during retirement. So what does that really mean? What that's basically saying is that you get a tax deduction. Now, a tax deduction is very different than a tax credit. A tax credit means that you're going to get extra money in your refund anyway. So if you have a zero tax liability, so at the end of the year, if you have $0 in your tax that you owe, a credit is going to give you money anyway. This is a deduction. So if you owe $0, you're not going to get extra money back with a deduction. But let's say if you owed $6,000, you can then have that much based on your percentage. I know I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole, but basically whatever your tax credit liability is, that would help deduct that amount of money in your taxes. So it's not necessarily you get $6,000 off your taxes. You get $6,000 to your percentage of your tax rate. This is why we leave all the tax stuff to the tax professionals, because the stuff gets really complicated really quickly and it changes all the time. So with a traditional IRA, it grows tax deferred. So what does that mean? It means that as it's growing, there's going to be, it's going to grow. And then when you pull it out, then you pay the taxes on it. So let's say I put in $50,000 and when I hit retirement, it's got, $600,000. The growth of that is then going to be taxed. Part of you guys are like, well, why is that any good? And the hope is that when you reach retirement age, because most people who are retired don't have a high tax bracket. So if you're a family of two people earning $250,000, which if you're a small business owner and you're with somebody who has, even just a regular job where they're working wherever, making $80,000, $90,000, it could very easily become that high. And your tax liability could be 30 or 40%. But when you retire, they're probably retired living on a pension or their 401k. And so are you. So now it's a much smaller tax liability. So that is the benefit of a traditional IRA. Now, the alternative option is the Roth IRA. In the Roth IRA, you don't get a tax deduction when you contribute, but your earnings grow tax-free. So any money you withdraw during retirement, including your earnings, doesn't incur a tax liability. Now, there are certain things where if you hit a certain bracket, you cannot do Roth IRAs. Things change all the time, so I would always find out the current opportunities with that. That said, I always suggest that people open Roth IRAs if they can afford it. The reason why is because for the most part, you want that money to grow tax-free. The amount of money I'm going to spend putting in that money, let's say $6,000 a year, that money is probably not going to be that much. I would rather pay my tax bracket on $6,000 than I'm hoping that money is going to continue to roll. Because, it's one of those, Einstein said it was the seventh wonder of the world. So it's one of those things that, your 6,000, let's say, becomes 6,600 the next year. And then it keeps doubling, and not necessarily doubling, but it keeps going up. But when you get interest on interest on interest on interest, that's where things really begin to exponentially grow. Now, I personally would rather pay 40% on $6,000 than pay 10% on $1 million. And that's really where your traditional versus Roth IRA. Now, things can change and who knows, but currently right now, I suggest anybody who can afford to not have the deductions, do a Roth IRA. And you can do these at your local bank. I would definitely do some research where you're going to do them. You can hire somebody to do your retirement savings and things like that. But a Roth IRA will allow you to start growing some money safely, tax-free. So when you get to retirement age, you're going to be able to live off of the earnings, and that those earnings will be tax-free. Versus if you have a traditional IRA, when that money begins to come out, you're going to be taxed on those earnings. Now, if you have any employees and you make enough that you can help with their retirement plans too, there are a couple of other retirement account options that have higher contributing limits as well. So I never really hear anyone talk about a Sep IRA, and the Sep IRA is for groomers with a few employees, and they have to be W-2 employees. These are not 1099. 1099 are not employees. And basically, here's how it works. So only you, which is the employer, may contribute to the plan. You contribute the lesser of 25% of your income or $57,000 in contributions, which that's the number as of 2020. And I'll say that again. You contribute the lesser of 25% of your income or $57,000 in contributions. You must contribute an equal percentage of your employees' salaries. If you contribute 5% of your salary, you must also contribute 5% of each employee's salary to their retirement fund. You can deduct the lesser of 25% of your net self-employment earnings, and that is net profit minus half of your self-employment tax or your IRA contributions. Now, I understand how overwhelming that may sound. And that's where I would highly suggest, like when I talk to you guys about the different options with retirement, we need to get a little bit familiar with these, but we also need to do is be able to make sure that these are the right options for you. Uh-oh. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I just got a message saying that the connection is off. I'm just going to message it. Hopefully you guys can hear me because I'm doing all this. But if you can't, I will have to redo this, and it is what it is. So for a Sep IRA, basically this is when you have 3 to 5 employees, maybe a few more. You have enough employees that it makes sense for you. You're looking for ways to lower your tax liability while helping out your groomers start their own retirement. And I know it sounds kind of complicated because the first time someone said this to me, it felt like a lot of mental gymnastics. And that's where I want to make sure that you are getting the right advice. And different states do different things. Everything changes every year. So as much as I want to help you guys understand these concepts with retirement and things of that nature, you have to understand that these get complicated very quickly. So with the Sep IRA, if you're the kind of groomer, like, so when I had my shop, this would have been what I probably would have been guided to by my retirement professional. I'm going to read this again because I want to make sure you guys heard this. So if you have a few employees, again, I'm talking 3 to 5. 10 would get pretty pricey. And less than 3, it probably wouldn't make any financial sense. So you have to contribute to your employee's retirement plan, but it has higher limits for you. So this would be for somebody who has a lot of tax liability, or somebody who's ready to start really socking away a lot of money. They're ready to really start. Hi, Shelly, how are you? You're ready to really start socking that money away. I can't believe I'm losing my voice too. So I'm going to read this again. So only you, the employer, may contribute to this plan, which means that your employees cannot put money into this plan. They can do other retirement, but you have to contribute to this plan. And again, I know this is a really weird way they put it, but hopefully you can follow this. I know I really had to do some mental gymnastics when I was hearing this. So you, the employer, contribute the lesser of 25% of your income, or up to $57,000 in contributions. Now, you must contribute an equal percentage of your employees' salaries. If you contribute 5% of your salary, you must also contribute 5% of each employee's salary to their retirement account. So let's say, for instance, you want to put 10% or 15% of your income into retirement. You can do up to $57,000. You must also then put 15% of your employees' salary, commission, hourly into their retirement fund. What's nice about this is that you can, again, put all of that money into that. So, being able to sock away $57,000 a year up to is amazing. And this is a great opportunity for you to help your groomers. The bad news is that it can get very costly. Obviously, depending upon how much your groomers are making, that can be a lot of money for you to then have to pay your groomers. But on the flip side, I'm always talking about creative ways to create loyalty and creative ways to allow your groomer to feel more safe. I don't know about you, but if my employer was putting away 10 to 15% of my money, that I don't have to give them. They just give me free money, 10 to 15% on top of that, right into my retirement. That's something to think about. I would be more likely to stay with somebody who was putting money into my retirement than moving up. I'd rather take 30% or even 25% commission rate, knowing they were putting 10 to 15% of my income into a retirement savings account. All right, so I hope that explains it. And remember, you can deduct the lesser of 25% of your net self-employed earning, and that is net profit minus half of your self-employment tax and your IRA contributions. I know. Every time I listen to this stuff, I'm like, this is like paint on a chalkboard, but I'm here for you. You guys wanted this. I did my research, and I'm so excited to share this with you guys. Another option is what's called a simple IRA. A simple IRA. It's also called an IRA, but I like IRA better. Okay, so the simple IRA is great for groomers as it has few administration rules. Okay, employees can contribute to this plan too. But as the employer, you must contribute. Okay, so your groomers can contribute, but as the business owner, you must contribute. So they don't have to, you do. And remember, with the traditional or the Roth, they're completely in control. And if you want to do a match, great. If you don't, you don't have to. This one, you have to. So the limit for this one as of 2020 is $13,500, which is higher than a traditional IRA. Remember, a traditional IRA is $6,000. The Sep Ira is $57,000, and then the simple IRA is $13,500. So as an employer, as the business owner, you must contribute at least 2% of each employee's salary or match dollar for dollar up to 3% of your employee's salary. So as the business owner, you have to give at least 2% of your employee's salary, commission, hourly, or you have to match dollar for dollar up to 3% of the employee's salary. What does that mean? So if they contribute nothing, you have to do at least 2% of their income into this. Now, if they do 3%, let's say they decide to do 3%, you are required to match that to 3%. Now, employees can defer up to $13,500 in their account before taxes. That's amazing, guys. As a groomer, as a grooming employee, that is a great opportunity for me to get some money in retirement. And as a business owner, you can then also market how that groomer can put away a lot of money very quickly. So in a traditional IRA, they're only putting away $6,000. That doesn't really move the needle. And these other two ways, as business owners, we can really help our employees. And again, I would talk to a tax professional if you are, because sometimes there are loopholes where people are S corps or C corps, and they kind of play around with these things. As much as I am not opposed to creative accounting, I tend to be I'm a little risk adverse. I deal with a lot of people tell me their stories of being audited, of being fined. And so I personally have a very low risk tolerance. Some of you guys have higher risk tolerances, and that's okay. Whatever makes you happy, just make sure that you are doing what is best for you and your family and your business. So I would love to hear from you guys. What plan would be right for you? What plan would you consider for your business and employees? What would be a good opportunity for you to choose? I'd like to hear you guys decide how much you can contribute. Can you contribute much more than $6,000? A lot of times we don't realize how little $6,000 a year can be. And don't mind me. So what I tell people is I do by the week, and I take 2 weeks off. Hi, Peter. Good to see you. So if you want to contribute $6,000 in your IRA, that would only be $120 a week. You're probably getting more in tips than $120 a week. If you're going to contribute $57,000 a year, which is a lot, you're probably not going to contribute that. But let's just for giggles say that. That's $1,100, less than $1,200 a week, which again is a lot. But if you guys are running multiple businesses, or if you have multiple employees, there's always such an opportunity for that. And then at I'm just going to do 13,000 because I'm feeling lazy, guys. Don't mind me. That's $260 a week. That's not a lot of money. Again, that is a couple of dogs, or in my case, 2.5 cats. If you're getting good tips, especially if you're mobile, I'm mobile. I get an average, I'd say, of $20 a cat. So you figure if I do 5 cats a day, $20, I'm doing $100 a day in tips. So, $260 a week to set aside for my retirement, that's 3 days worth of tips. Again, a lot of times we just take our tips and we buy pizza, we buy coffee, we do this, we do that. Just taking that $13,000. And again, I feel like $13,000 a year is a lot of money for me to be putting in retirement. Again, I'm in my early 30s. But if I divide that, well, first of all, I got to do my math. So let's say 50 weeks times 7 days a week. That's 350 days. So I take my 13,000, I would divide that by the 350 days. So that is $37 a day. If I put away $37 a day, I could set aside $13,000 a year into retirement. And remember, that money's not sitting in an account. It is sitting in an account. It's not going to just sit like in a savings account. When you sit something in a savings account, it just sits there. It doesn't do anything because you're not going to really get interest on that. You don't have to worry about the market as much with retirement funds. They're generally more safe options. Option bet. Versus, the stock market. The stock market, now your IRA could be in the stock market, but it's generally in safer funds, things that are going to continue to do it. All right, so Jared is saying it's a tough call. Have to balance between the yearly income tax benefit, reduced liability, versus how it affects the take-home pay. So work just those couple appointments more and you can save more. I definitely agree working those extra appointments, but I also want to point out that there's going to be an ebb and flow sometimes in different years. I'm a single woman. As a single woman, I tend to get nervous with my take home pay because if I don't take home enough money, bills don't get paid. But for those of you guys who are blessed enough to have a husband that pays for everything, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, trust me, I don't, it might be worth it for you to throw some money into your retirement one year and say, okay, honey, can you handle all the bills? Or, maybe have enough money set aside in your emergency fund that you can then spend that money building your retirement. The nice thing about retirement money is when you start putting money in retirement, it continues to grow. So like I was saying, unlike a savings account, you put money in a savings account, that money just sits there. It's stagnant. When you put things into either, ideally the stock market, I know things haven't been quite that way, in the stock market or in retirement, they grow. So that $5,000, at $6,000, at $13,000 a year is not going to stay $6,000, $13,000. It's not going to double overnight. But that money for me, in 20 years, that money will be a lot higher. Even if I add nothing to it. If I put $6,000 this year and I do nothing else, that money will at least quadruple in 20 years. And ideally, and I'm sure we've all seen these graphs, and if you guys want to do more in these graphs and different numbers and things like that, we can definitely do that. But it's so little money. It really is. And that money is going to grow, and that money is going to grow, and it's going to give you a lot of freedom and flexibility. Whether you're young, if you are in your 20s and 30s, I'm hoping you're grooming for 30 years. I'm hoping. You might not. I've been grooming 15 years, more than 10, less than 20. So, my body's pretty shot. You could be somebody who's been grooming 30, 40 years, and you're going strong. My goal is for you to groom till you don't want to or don't have to. So retirement is not an age, it's a number. That number is the number that you don't have to do anything. You can literally sit at home and not have to go into work. That's the number we need to figure out that is. And until we figure out that number, you're going to feel scared and not feel like there's financial stability. So that is my goal for you guys. So I want to thank you guys so much. I'm going to open up to questions again. If you guys have any more questions before I go, that's the beautiful thing about being live. I love you guys. I loves it. All right. So for those of you guys that are new here, I want to invite you to come to my free Facebook group, which is Savvy Pet Professionals. We talk about personal finance, business, and lifestyle. It also live streams live in that group, which is so fun. I'm working on live streaming it in more groups, but for now it's this one and then on my Savvy Groomer page. I also want to remind you guys there are 3 main ways of working with me. I offer one-on-one coaching, which is one-on-one attention for either your financial or your business questions. That starts at $9.97 a month, which is enough for you guys to get started and really work on your problems. I'd love to welcome you guys into my monthly membership, which is Grow Wealthy Grooming, where we tackle one topic each month, how to grow your business. And that is only $35 a month. If you are looking for ways in changing your personal finance, I really advise you to check out my Personal Finance on a Leash course. It is 12 weeks to how to get your money to work for you. It is only 3 monthly payments of $199. And within those 12 weeks, you go from just simply surviving to working on how to live and eventually thrive. And as you guys know, I talk about your survive, your live, your thrive. Your survive is you can just pay the bills. Live is you have some comfort. And thrive is you get to do whatever the hell you want. And to me, there's nothing more important than, I guess it's sad. I'm like, yeah, it's actually pretty true. I like to make my own choices. I like to feel like I am in control of my life. That is so important to me. And in order for me to do that, I have to have enough money, because if I don't want to work at a place, if I'm working in a job that I hate, I need enough money to leave. If I own a business that I want to make better, I like to have the extra money in order to invest in that business, invest in business coaching, I have 2 business coaches right now, guys. I have one for Savvy Groomer and I have one for Grow Wealthy Grooming and the Savvy Groomer. It is so important to reinvest in your business and have somebody who is further along in their journey to help you along. If you get stagnant in your business, it's not going to, Tony Robbins says that if you're not growing, you're dying. And growing doesn't necessarily mean making your business bigger. What it can be is making it more efficient, or even possibly making it fit your lifestyle better. And on that note, guys, I want to thank you so much for being here. I always have a blast with you guys. Thank you so much for being patient. Well, one of these days we'll figure out the technology. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week. Happy grooming, guys.